Is this right? Am I doing this right? All right, so maybe it's not about the mask or the toilet paper, but I guess I could go with the flip side. Those people are like, what's the matter with you, you pansies? I say expose everyone and get it over with. Now, look, I'm not a doctor, right? I don't even play one on TV, but I know buyers and the way that they make decisions. And there's a lot of fear out there that I think buyers are adopting, and we need to address it. Now, let me tell you, for years I've been teaching a formula about the way that people make purchase decisions. I've been studying this for a long time, and I know that if you're a buyer, what are you going to do? You're going to buy because your current dissatisfaction multiplied by your future promise is greater than your cost plus fear. Current dissatisfaction times future promise has to be greater than cost plus fear. Current dissatisfaction is what's wrong now. Future promise is about what you want your life to look like. Cost are those tangible things, price and payment and time and hassle. And then there's fear. And that can be really, really debilitating. It could be the fear of making a bad decision, the fear of being taken advantage of, the fear of not getting the best deal. These are all legitimate concerns that our customers carry and that we as sales professionals deal with every single day. Mostly what we're talking about here is the fear of the unknown, right? I mean, isn't that what we're really talking about? Now, it turns out that fear is a powerful and motivating force. Why is that the case? Well, because the primary duty of the brain is to keep us alive. So when we sense a threat, our brain triggers a fear response. To some extent, that's healthy. It keeps us alive. But it can get out of hand. Now, look, I've been on the road a lot over the past month, both for personal and professional travel, and I've been paying attention to the news, and I admit that early on I was skeptical as to the severity of the situation, but I've been changing my tune on that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm certainly not panicking, but I can recognize that the issue is serious and it's well worth my diligent attention. As a sales professional, you need to decide your own approach, both your sales approach and your mental approach. So let's talk about how this situation affects you and your customer and exactly how we should respond. And I think there are really 3 lines here that have to be walked. To start, you want to be understanding of the serious concerns, but you don't want to fuel that fire. Now, there are going to be people who want to get into it and share their apocalyptic predictions about how the world is going to end. And they might even come off as being somewhat miserable about the whole thing. Some people think that misery loves company. I think rather that misery loves validation. The problem is that customer needs confidence in order to make a purchase decision. So the question is, what's the opposite of confidence? Well, it's fear. So if we join in on the doomsaying, if we add to their misery, we're actually fueling the fear fire. Don't get caught up in that. Now, secondly, you need to watch the line between providing confidence and making promises that you cannot keep. So, for example, if I were to say to a prospect, don't worry, this is a bunch of media hype, it's going to blow over in no time. Now, not only is that response tone deaf, in my opinion, given what everybody's talking about, but it's also a prediction that you cannot back up. You don't know what happens next, and you can't make promises about the future. Then finally, you need to balance the short-term circumstances with the long-term realities. This is where you can really help your skittish prospect. You can ask your customer for their opinion. Is the coronavirus a short-term or a long-term phenomenon? But then you can ask your customer about the purchase decision. Is that decision for the short-term or for the long-term? And for most products, the answer is long-term. So here's the talking point in the conversation. It may not be wise to make long-term decisions based on short-term circumstances. That's your talking point. That's the opportunity to get them thinking in perspective. Now look, beyond that, it's about staying calm and staying confident despite your own personal concerns. Your customer needs to see a cool and calm head. They're looking to you for their cue on how to move forward. So a couple of tactical things to consider. You may see fewer customers into your sales environment, but you can still bring your sales environment to your customers. I'm going to suggest that virtual demonstration via video messaging is a thing. If you're not onto that trend, now is absolutely the time. The things that you can do with just your smartphone and video messaging of your product or a testimonial or a comment, whatever it is really, really powerful. You can bring your presentation to your customer. Second thing is, if you see a decline in traffic, and some of you might see fewer people in the short run, get excited, because lower traffic quantity means higher traffic quality. Those who you do talk to are going to be much more interested. So be prepared to spend more time on the deeper discovery. It's the chance to get to know your customers more than you ever have before. Finally, let me just offer you this advice. Wash your hands and turn off the 24-hour news channels. Let me tell you why I say that. Your customer needs positive energy from you, and you can only give out that which you have inside. Trust me, the news will find you. I was in Hawaii, unplugged for 2 weeks, and I couldn't get away from the news. Stay informed, but stay away from the talking heads telling you how we're all gonna die and then blaming it on Trump or Biden or Bernie or the Republicans or the Democrats or whoever they hate. You need to stay positive. Your customer needs confidence, and confidence is contagious. The situation is going to pass. It will. In the meantime, do what the experts are telling you to do. Wash your hands a lot. Avoid shaking hands with people where you can. Stay home if you don't feel well. All good advice. But mostly, be the confident leader that your customer needs you to be.